Hey YouTube, GlockNinja here. Welcome to another video. This is a video that I've been wanting to make for a very long time, and it's a user review of a gun. It's a gun that I've owned for many years. I bought this brand new in 1988. It's the Walther PPK. Let's take a look at it real quick. It's in the original box. Here's the manual, and it came with 2 magazine clips. And here's the gun. Now, this is a gun, of course, legendary to the James Bond movies, where 007 carries. And then actually you could YouTube search it and find when James Bond actually converted over from a Beretta to a Walther PPK. And you know, it's famous because of that. But actually this gun has a long history. It goes all the way back to Germany, where in a lot of European countries it was actually used as a service weapon for police officers. And I mean, that's the basic history of the Walther. It is a .380 caliber handgun. It has a hammer that you can cock to fire single action, but mainly it's a double action semi-automatic pistol. Maximum round capacity in the magazine is 6 plus 1 if you want to put one in the chamber, so it can maximum capacity would be 7 rounds all total. The Walther PPK has 2 different variants, the PPKS and the PP. The PPKS and the PP do hold an extra round in the magazine, but the most famous gun out of the 3 is the Walther PPK. Now, I'm not a gun expert, and far as the technical aspects and the history of it is very general to me, but I've had extensive experience in investigating shootings and crimes where you look into a lot of shooting situations. So my opinion about this gun is not a expert firearms opinion, but a more of an experienced expert in the field of shootings. Okay, so here's my take. Number one, for this gun, this actual gun, okay, not all Walther PPK, but just this Walther PPK, I've had since 1988. I've fired and practiced with this gun many times, and I can tell you that it is not a gun that I would rely on as my primary weapon or use as a defense weapon. And I say that because I find it to be not very reliable. Mechanically, it is indestructible. It is very old, and it still works great. It's stainless steel. The only part that's plastic is the handle covers, and it is a very durable, tough gun. It's got a pretty good weight to it because it's all steel. But my problem with this gun is that it is a gun that will stovepipe and jam on you if you hold it incorrectly, or if the rounds are not, if the ammunition that you're using is not optimal. It will stovepipe, meaning that the empty shell casing will fail to eject or get caught here in the ejection port. And that happens maybe about out of 30 rounds you fire, maybe it'll happen maybe twice. And that's enough actually for you to get in a real big trouble in a real shooting situation. First of all, there is a saying, there's no replacement for displacement when you're talking about cars. Well, when you're talking about guns, there is no replacement for capacity. Okay? 7 rounds is not enough, folks, for any type of shooting situation. I have investigated many shooting incidents where shell casings are spewed all over the ground, anywhere from 6, 7, all the way to 30, 40 shell casings on the ground. Okay, and you'll find that either the victim that's been shot, have been shot multiple times or maybe once and still survive. Okay, so in a real shooting situation, it is very difficult to be accurate and to be effective. And when you're a casual civilian who just carries a firearm just for self-protection, and you get into a situation where you have to defend yourself and you get into a shootout, trust me, this is not going to be enough, even with an extra magazine. Okay, especially if the gun is going to stovepipe or jam on you. Okay, so in a nervous situation where you decide that you're going to have to defend yourself and you're in a panic situation and you pull out this gun and you start shooting and you limp wrist it or you hold it in a incorrect manner and you're shooting while you're moving around, this is not the gun to have. Okay, as a defensive weapon, no. Now, what this gun is primarily, in my opinion, is designed for is actually an offensive weapon, where you carry it concealed and you come upon somebody and have the upper hand, and just like James Bond, who have a license to kill, you decide that you're going to use it in a fashion of an assassin. Okay, then yeah, I say it's a cold-blooded weapon basically, and one of the reasons it was banned from being imported, and it was for that exact reason. It's very concealable. It is an offensive weapon. It's not a defensive weapon. Okay, if you're going to defend yourself, please get a handgun that has more capacity than this, and definitely more reliable than this. Now, I'm not saying all Carl Walthers, even this model, is that way. Every gun, even the same model, has a slight different characteristics. I have the factory target. I had the factory target. I don't know what happened to it, but the factory target that was that came with this gun showed that this gun shoots slightly low right center of the bullseye. So, in accuracy wise, it's not a completely accurate gun. Now, it is a gun, and this is a gun that is fairly hard to shoot accurately. if you are a very good shooter in a range atmosphere where you can take your time and aim and have breath control, trigger control, and have the right situation, it's a very accurate gun. I'm not saying it's not, but in a panic situation, a little gun like this, no matter what the stopping power is of the 380, you're gonna be hard pressed. You're gonna be hard pressed to get good results. Okay. I'm not knocking the gun. It is a beautiful gun. You know, when I bought this gun, I knew absolutely nothing about guns. It just looked so great in the showcase that I was like, yeah, that's the one I want. And that's what I wound up buying. When I purchased this gun in 1988, it was $520. Okay, and I don't know if I overpaid it or what. It was brand new. I bought it from a gun shop, and you know, it's a Karl Walther is a German-made gun. This particular model was banned from being imported. So what happened was you had American companies like Interarms and Smith & Wesson and all them make it, and basically they were licensed by Karl Walther to make these guns in the United States. I'm pretty sure that the German-made ones are probably more expensive and slightly better quality. I don't know. But I know that the Interarms one here, this is made by Interarms or licensed by them or whatever. And I'd have to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as reliability goes, I give it a 6. Only because when you're shooting like I have with this at the range, in an ideal situation, it does tend to jam and stovepipe. And it's not an easy clearance because it's a very small gun with a very small ejection port. Once you get a stovepipe where the casing is enlarged here in the port, and then you have another feed issue in the chamber, it is a very difficult gun to clear. And in a shooting situation, you want to be able to wrap, tap, check, and go. Okay, with this gun, you cannot do that. You basically have to rip it and play with it and get the shell casing to fall out and on all that. So there are many guns out there that are a lot more reliable, a lot more dependable, and hold a lot more capacity as far as your ammunition goes. And that is the kind of gun you want to carry for self-protection, because in a real life situation where you're put in a harm's way, especially with a person shooting at you or a person with a gun, you don't want to be outgunned. And like I said, a beautiful gun, slightly heavy because it is stainless steel, but very concealable, very compact, and I mean, a gun is a gun. It's better to have a gun and not have a gun at all in a situation, but as far as me having a choice from the beginning to want to carry the proper gun to defend myself, I would rather carry my ultimate choice would be the Glock. Okay. Now the Glock does make a 9mm single stack that is as slim as this gun and as compact, almost as compact, and that would probably be the better gun to carry. But at the same time, the capacity is the most important thing. You want to have a gun that has the most rounds in the magazine, okay? Because, like I said, when you're in a panic situation, a lot of the times you're not accurate, you're not shooting properly, you're moving around, and trust me, this trigger will get pulled a lot faster than you think it's going to be pulled in a panic situation, and you'll be out of ammunition quicker than you know. So as a so even if I was to carry 2 extra magazines, it would not be the firearm of my choice. Okay. It is a beautiful gun. It feels really nice on your hand. The only flaw of this gun is when you shoot it, the slide will catch on the web of your hand and kind of cut you if you don't hold it properly, or if you have big hands or meaty hands, and it will cut you a little bit there. But other than that, it has a pretty good kick to it for a little gun, and when you shoot it, it does make a lot of noise, and it does have a good kick to it. Okay, so you really do have to know how to shoot and be a very proficient shooter to be a good shooter with this gun, especially in a real life situation. Okay, so that's my review of the Walther PPK. I've had this gun since brand new from 1988. I've always thought of either trading it in or selling it, but I've had it this long, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and keep it. I don't know what the collector's value is. I think I've looked online and seen these go for as much as $800 now. So, but that's my review of the Walther PPK, the James Bond legendary gun. It's a beautiful gun, but would I stake my life on it? Probably not. I wouldn't even actually rely on this as a backup weapon, because when I think of a backup weapon, I think of a very compact, very reliable backup weapon. But this here is so heavy. It's really, you can conceal it, but you're gonna feel it. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like, it's light or whatever. It's pretty heavy. So, as far as aesthetics and the looks of it, beautiful. As far as in taking it to the range and challenging yourself and hitting targets with a small gun, it's a fun gun to shoot. But like I said, I wouldn't stake my life on it. But anyway, that was my review of the Walther PPK. Thanks for watching. See you around next time.